Throw your hands in the air if you're real as me. Ooh.
Welcome back to the MBH Podcast, Money Buys Happiness, Season 6. Miami buys happiness, money buys happiness, everything buys happiness. Before we get into it, guys, we fucking love you. The support has been unreal. Keep running up the merch sales. Like, subscribe, comment, do the fucking duties. You guys already know. I shouldn't have to say it. I say it every time. I'm tired of saying it. You already know what it is. Listen, before I go too crazy.
Special guest.
Special. Very special guest.
Recommended. Yeah. Recommended guest by our audience.
Yep.
That's what I'm pumped about. But
yeah, I want to know who recommended
it was a couple people. I mean, I can show you. I can share you with them after. But it was a couple people that reached out. All females, actually.
That's not a surprise. I'm not sorry. That didn't come out. That didn't come out right. Yeah. That didn't come out right.
Yeah.
My audience, like just my small audience on my Instagram, that's pretty much exclusively people who follow my wife.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's, they follow me because I am the husband,
of course,
of Valeria. Okay. So so they follow me. So that's why I'm saying
you got a big audience though. You're being humble when you say that. You got a pretty good audience, man.
Come on,
it's all relative, right? Yeah. It's all relative. But that's not what matters, right?
Yeah,
that's,
of course.
Yeah. Well, listen, for anyone who doesn't know you, intro on yourself, a little bit about what you do, stuff like that, and then we'll just get right into it.
So, let's see. Where do I start? I'm an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. Back in the day, back in like late 1999, my first like official business before I was doing like, selling stuff in the street. Let me back that up again. I was selling stuffed animals, like children's toys and shit.
Okay.
I was selling that in the street. So before I did stuff like that and just like, buying and selling stuff, in 1999, I had my first like grown-up business, which was an online restaurant directory. Took that up to, doing a few $1 million a year in revenue, which back then, like profitable revenue this was again in like 1999, early 2000s. I had a whole bunch of different ventures, did a lot of affiliate marketing, did a business where we had a daily deal site. Okay. So we had a daily deal site. We were one of the biggest competitors to Groupon at the time. I don't know if you guys
remember. Yeah, I remember Groupon.
No, we know Groupon. We know Groupon.
So we were one of the biggest competitors. We, we started from zero, and 12 months after we launched that, and we launched that off the infrastructure of the restaurant directory. And 12 months after we started that, we had like north of $100 million valuation. We raised $32 million. Luckily, a portion of that came off the table, so we cashed out back then. After that, had a few failed like attempts at creating platforms, a bunch of different stuff. And I had a media company, like we had a viral news website that had over 200 million sessions a month.
Holy
we were like
fuck.
in the top 100 globally, ranked in terms of website traffic. That came to a screeching halt, which a lot of online businesses do, especially in the media business. And then Valeria, my wife, kind of unknown to me, started making videos from home. Mm-hmm. So she just went super viral kind of within the first few months of her doing it. And, when I saw that opportunity, I basically asked her, can I please partner with you? I was in between gigs, and luckily she said yes. So we didn't go the traditional route of getting professional management, although professional management companies were approaching us, both from like Hollywood and locally in Toronto, first in Toronto and then out in LA. And we just decided to do everything in-house. So we just did everything ourselves. So, right now we've got, 2 companies. We spinned a company off from the media company. So the first company, we have about 24 people there, 24 employees, who like they run her media company. So again, everything in-house. And then we have another 6 people on the e-commerce website. So we created a product line, which is like women's clothing and accessories. Okay. So right now we have like a CEO and an SVP that runs both of those companies.
Yeah.
So we have senior level management there. So, Valeria's obviously, it's not enough to say she's talent. She very much runs the show. So the 4 of us, we run the operation. So that's kind of what I'm up to now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
and then
God.
there's obviously like some stock market shit and real estate.
Yeah.
And and all this stuff that I do. But Yeah, so that's kind
Wow.
of my background. Sorry it took so long.
No,
But
Jesus
when
Christ.
When you get to my age,
So
it
many
takes a little
bangers though.
while.
Yeah, no, but
it takes a little while.
I wanna go back a bit.
Yeah.
What company was that you said you raised 32 million in the first year?
That was a company called DealFind.
Okay, DealFind. And this was like competitor Groupon, you're saying?
This was a competitor Groupon. I would say that there was Groupon initially, then a company called Living Social, and there was us.
Okay.
DealFind. So yeah, man, we scaled that from 25 employees because we did it kind of leveraging the infrastructure of our restaurant directory.
Yes.
And we scaled that from like 25 people to 400 people with that investment. And then, unfortunately, the whole thing came crashing down. The whole industry came crashing down, and us along with it. But, to my credit, to my partner's credit at the time, on the way up, we were the fastest ones to go up. And then on the way down, we were the slowest ones to kind of burn and crash.
Okay.
So, it was a very cool experience. It was the kind of thing where, on the way up, when you have something that explodes so fast, and then you've got like every VC, like in town, and and VCs from out of town, everyone's on you, to do a deal. And then you've got people in the media calling you, and you're this kind of like darling for a period of time. And then for that whole thing to come like, crashing down.
Yeah.
Very humbling and interesting experience to experience that kind of,
Yeah, you're seeing both sides.
you see both sides in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
And,
Right?
And
So-
scaling that quickly, like what would you attest that to? What were you guys doing at the time to be able to, was it demand, or what were you guys doing things on the back end to ensure that scaling?
Well, I mean, a lot of the scale came from the expectation of the investors, right?
Yeah.
So when they put in that amount of money, their
Yeah.
expectation is that, hey, you know what, you want
Okay.
to accelerate
of
this thing as
course.
quickly as possible. So
course.
when profitability is, I don't want to say an afterthought, because you always have to look at like your P&L, your profit and loss statements.
Yeah.
But when you have an allowance to burn in order to build, it's a different animal. So you're not bootstrapping from the sense that you're trying to build a profitable business.
Yeah.
Which is what we're doing right now with, it's called Valeria Inc., Valeria's media company,
Yeah.
and then the products that's called Vare, which is what we're doing there. We've we've scaled that from the beginning. It's been 5 years now, and that's profitable. So it's just very different.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask what was that experience like? Also because I feel like it was very early, being able to kind of have this online business, and then what's the experience like working with was that your first time working with VCs? I guess to that scale.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What was that like? Like you got people breathing down your neck and stuff like that? Because for us, like we're startup, bootstrapped our business from the beginning, always looking at the P&L, right?
Sure.
Or at the start. So I'm just curious on your end. Like what was that experience like getting this allowance? How much, you don't mind telling us how much that allowance was?
It was $32 million.
32 million. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Of that, a portion
was
we
you
cashed
cashed out for
and
sure.
we left, and a portion we
Yeah.
kept in. So if you're asking me about the experience of working with VCs,
Yeah.
so first and foremost, I got to tell you that working with VCs, it was probably the best education out of all the stuff I've ever done.
Okay.
That I ever had. Like when you're dealing with an organization at this level who can cut checks like that, these guys were like a multi-billion-dollar fund. It was a group of VCs actually that got together. One was a local one in Toronto, and the other one was out of New York.
Okay.
So just when you bootstrap for such a long time, and when you come from humble beginnings, like we all do, getting exposed to people who have that level of knowledge and who conduct and execute businesses at that level is it's very educational. So to me, I love the experience, and I gotta say, like there was and I don't know if it's just the people that we worked with or if it's VCs in general, nobody was breathing down our neck. And the thing is that to my understanding, VCs, they're not looking to invest in your business and then run your business.
True. Yeah.
They want you to run the business.
Yeah.
So they're looking like high level. They're looking at a P&L from a profit loss perspective, and they want to know kind of what direction the business is going. And then in their minds, they're also they're thinking like, are you building value, and are you building enterprise value so that this business can be exited? So, look, I think it's a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say caution people from doing it. I think if you're dealing with reputable VCs, you're gonna have a really good experience.
Yeah.
When things were good, they were great.
Yeah.
When things were bad, they were fair.
Yeah.
So that's what
Okay.
I can tell you. So I have nothing negative to say about it.
And to bounce off that, I'm curious, like, how did you guys, like you said, you had now, when you had that darling phase where people were like, holy fuck, these guys are blowing up. How'd you guys pick your partners? Like, what was it in this group of guys where you're like, okay, these are the guys we want to move forward with?
You mean the VC partners?
VCs, yeah.
we picked our VC partners based on the one that called me the most and like was kept showing up at my door
Really,
and
yeah.
wouldn't take no for an answer.
I love that. Yeah, yeah.
You know, so because look, at the time you're in a position where we literally had 6 different groups
Mm-hmm.
wanting to do this deal with us. And the one thing I want to credit myself, I'm not here to like pat myself on the back, but to credit myself, like I stayed humble about it. Like I wasn't a dick about it. And I think that's very important. So when someone is in that position, you gotta be cool. You gotta stay humble. It's really important.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Well, just like how so you said he was kind of, or this
Just
group of guys were
persistent
just
about
like persistent, right? They just wanted to, I guess, get the deal done more than anybody else, or more hungry, or
Yeah, I mean, I also like at the time, because there was so much demand for our deal, I basically named the terms and I said, hey, listen, this is how much it's going to be. This is how much is coming off the table. This is the valuation, and you have 30 days to close. And they're like, 30 days is too much. And I'm like, look, like, you can't lock me up for longer than that because I have other people who want to do a deal, and I can't miss this window. So yeah, I mean, look, like again, it was a good experience. You just got to stay cool when you're in a situation.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of young entrepreneurs watching us right now,
Yeah.
and they're all, you know, in stages where they're creating businesses they want to sell or exit. How did you evaluate your company? How did you decide, like, this is what I want? Now, you don't have to give me the numbers and everything, but what went through your head when you were doing it? Was it more your vision, or were you trying to be realistic about it?
I probably valued it, like in terms of coming up with the valuation.
Yeah.
I probably did it incorrectly.
Okay.
okay.
The thing is at that time, for the kind of business that we had, it was such a complex revenue model. There was no real comparables to what we were doing.
Okay.
So, and to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about valuations or shit like that.
Yeah.
Like you got to understand, like I came from having a business that was doing like, you know, 400K a month.
Yeah.
I was making whatever I was making, like $500,000 a year, which again, and you know, at the time, it was a lot, and I'm a
You were
single.
fucking balling. Yeah,
I was good. I was good,
you
right?
were
Like,
balling.
I'm a single guy.
Yeah.
No kids, no wife, no responsibilities. So yeah, like, you know, I felt comfortable. But sorry, what was the question again?
How did you come up with the
How did I come up with
valuation?
the valuation?
Yeah.
So I had no idea. I just I honestly just put like in my mind a number that sounded astronomical to me, because the thought of $100 million, it's like today it's like $100 billion.
Yeah.
It was just it was beyond like any imagination. So when I mentioned the number, everybody was cool. Like nobody in the room was just like looking at each other thinking this guy's he's nuts. He's crazy. So I was like, you know, I look at my partner, he looks at me, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100 mil.
Did you have did you have a mentor this whole time, like while you were doing that? No, you just gut feeling, like what was going on? You were just trying to, you know, wing it? Because like what you've done is very impressive, right?
I don't know about that, man. I mean, listen, people have done all kinds of stuff.
Of course.
But no, man, I just look, business at the end of the day is common sense.
Yeah.
You know, and if you stay calm and exercise common sense, and again, I go back to being humble, as long as you're not a jerk about it, you just find that you have the time to actually maneuver and to think and to come up with, you know, the best kind of scenario. And one of the things, like in that deal and in anything that I look at, is in any kind of negotiation, I'm always trying to find a deal like that both sides benefit. You know what I mean? That both sides benefit actually equally. Like I'm never looking for the upper hand. And you know what? I think it's to my detriment, because I think in Canada, that shit works well. Yeah. But I feel here it's just Americans they're more like aggressive.
Yeah,
like more cutthroat.
savages.
Yeah.
So I feel that by trying to always find like the fair deal, they'll push harder the other way. So, you know, I have to adjust it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like if you're asking me how I navigated back then and how I navigate now, it's just, yeah, man, it's just common sense. Stay humble. Yeah. You got to be nice to people. Like all the stuff like that Vaynerchuk talks about, like it's real, man. You got to be kind and nice, and you got to treat people well. So when you do that, like you can do a lot of maneuvering.
Well, I like that you say like common sense, man. It's something that me and this guy talk about all the time, because that's the piece that I think people are missing, especially when it comes to business. It's always like, how do we overcomplicate this and ask these questions, and we got to change this and switch this up. It's like sometimes when you just take a step back, look at your business, look at the position you're in, right? Use a little bit of just fucking common sense, like you'll get through it, right? Whatever the situation may be. But with that being said, in the whole, like, I'm curious because now you just mentioned the whole like. Everyone here is a little more savage, a little more aggressive. So I want to talk about, you've made your move here. Yeah. Right. You guys came down to Miami. Yeah. We've been meeting a lot of Canadians down here who have already made the move officially or in the process, whatever the case may be. Why Miami?
One of the main reasons for Miami is that with the business that we're in now, there's a certain cap in Canada.
Yes.
So with Valeria's personal brand, with her as an influencer, like already you have dealing with this and working with sponsors, like sponsorship budgets for Canada, even though our audience is global and it's almost, I feel it's irrelevant where we're located, but the budgets in Canada, they're just much lower.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that although Canada's a great place, Toronto's a great place, and I grew up there and I'm forever grateful to Canada, when you're building a personal brand, having a backdrop of Toronto versus the backdrop of Miami, when you are, you're trying to build valuable content to, our demographic of females aged 18 to 35 globally, I promise you that every single one of those females 18 to 35 globally have at some point said, I either want to visit Miami or move to Miami.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of them are saying I want to move to Toronto. So not knocking Toronto, but just understanding like where you have to be positioned. I also strongly believe in proximity to opportunities, right? So, since we came here, Valeria's meeting peers in her industry. She's meeting, other influencers. Whereas in Toronto, you don't have that community, right? So those are a lot of the reasons why, like, I wish there was more of a quantitative, like, if we move here, then we will make X amount more money than we make. But that's just not the case. So a lot of it is, is gut. And then the other thing is, quite frankly, is like, we have 3 little kids. We have 3 little boys, and they're 9, 7, and 3. And like now spending some time in the United States, I just feel there's just so much opportunity. Yeah. So I'm just trying to pave the way for them, So I think that's why. And, between the United States, there's obviously like Los Angeles and New York. Miami just makes more sense for us because honestly, at this point, with everything that's gone on in the last few years with COVID, we have more friends here now than we ever had in Toronto. So we just know more people here. Like everybody we knew in Toronto moved here. So it's like a massive migration, right?
Well, it's funny you say that too, and I'm you're making me like it's reassuring to hear what you're saying because we're saying the same thing. Like it's funny, when you look at influencers in that type of industry, right, the entertainment industry, it was always like we got to go to LA. It's always like we got to go to Hollywood, LA, and that's the place you got to be. But now we're meeting more people here, and we're realizing that's almost it's kind of shifting a little bit. Like those influencers, models, entertainment, like people in that industry are actually starting to pick Miami over LA now, right? I feel like there's an early, like I feel like we're kind of, I don't know, I could be completely wrong. People might be like, you're late, but I feel like we're a little bit like early adopters when it comes to that, right? Only now am I seeing over the last year and a half that people have really been flocking into Miami specifically, right?
At least from Canada,
Well, at least from everywhere.
From everywhere, New York.
From everywhere. So look, Miami, in my opinion, this is the next spot. So excuse me, if you look at like, let's say New York, right? New York is, in my opinion, the center of a couple of just massive industries. One is finance. So all that, that whole Wall Street thing, like all of that, that's all New York. That's the center of the universe for, for anything financial, anything to do with money. Fashion, it's New York, right? Yeah. So you've got 2 monster industries with massive global demand that are in New York. You've got the entertainment industry. I had that media company I told you about with 200 million sessions a month. We had an office in LA because we were working with celebrities out in LA. Cool. So I spent some time there, and I got to look kind of a little bit under the hood of the entertainment industry, and that's just a juggernaut in itself. Like, so again, you've got LA for entertainment, you've got New York for finance and fashion. Well, now what's happened in the last couple of years is like now there's crypto. Now there's NFT. Now there's metaverse. And that shit's happening here. So the state of Florida in general is very like crypto, NFT, metaverse, friendly. Yeah. So if you kind of equate what's going on with crypto and kind of this new world order, and if you look at that as an industry and you compare that to, let's say, fashion and finance and entertainment, well, I think Miami is positioned for that industry that's already at massive scale, but will continue to get massive scale. So
100%.
I think that's one of the reasons you're going to see Miami explode. And then obviously with, I'm just continuing to elaborate on the whole why Miami, with at least what we've seen with the small amount of, employees that we have, we see now that people, they can work from anywhere. And the efficiencies that we realize with remote working, I was just on a Zoom call with our CEO this morning, and I said to her, what the hell did we do before Zoom? Like, why would we even go to an office? So now people understand, like I've got like some hedge fund buddies out here who used to work in New York, and they'd put on suits, and they'd be on Wall Street, and they would go every day in their suits to 5 days a week and live in their their relatively small apartments, and then they come down here, and it's like everything's still running, everything's still cool. So now with remote working, I think that just Miami's got a lot going for it now.
Yeah, 100% warm weather. It's always beautiful here, man. It's always like, and then even to add on top of that, like you look at the real estate market, right? And like what you're gonna get in New York.
Don't even get me started.
You know what I mean? What you're gonna get in New York compared to here,
Even
it's
Toronto,
just
even
Toronto.
I think you're saying it's better here?
I think it's better here.
No, I think you're maybe respectfully a little misinformed.
Come on.
Really?
No.
You think it's better? You think there's better pricing in New York?
Since I got here, the prices have doubled on real estate.
Yeah.
No.
That's
Prices
for sure.
have doubled 100%. Like we were looking at houses in 2019 compared to what they are today. They're literally up 100%, maybe even more.
I know.
But if you compare that to
Miguel's
New York,
laughing because this is a conversation I have with him on a regular basis because I'm like pulling out my beard hair at this point.
but compare them to New York.
No, man.
You don't think it's behind? You think
no,
Come
man.
on.
No, because what I'm looking at, like what you can buy for, let's say, again, I'm looking at it from the lens of having a large family. So I need like 3,500, 4,000 square feet.
Okay.
And when I'm looking at, let's say apartments or like condos in decent areas in Manhattan, compared to that same square footage in an equivalently nice neighborhood here, I assure you that it's more expensive here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah,
depending where you look.
I guess we're looking at different things. Yeah, I was gonna say because we're not.
Like you're much younger than me, and you're single, so you probably need like a 1 or a 2 bedroom condo.
Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah, when you're comparing that, you're still getting great deals on that kind of real estate here. But people are moving down here with their families, so you're gonna see a lot more competition on the kind of real estate that I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, we're different positions. That makes sense.
That's what it is.
Because no, but like I agree with you. Listen, like I think even on, let's say, cheaper properties, smaller stuff, like from 2019 to 2022, they've literally gone up 100, 150%. Yeah. No, that's been insane. But yeah, I think you see it too. You see like their statistics, 400,000 people have left New York to come here, 500,000 left LA to come here, right? Yeah. I mean, that's going to bring everything up. But to me, that's exciting. I see that as opportunity.
No, I think the opportunity here is huge. I think it's going to continue to climb and more stuff is going to come. And excuse me, like we're talking to, we go to influencer events that are, put together by some of the fashion brands that are our clients. And it's just, they're telling us there's like more and more. So the influencer space is quietly, coming here too. And it was, the biggest presence in LA. So you saw all those collaborations and you see all those, those people based in LA, but you're starting to see it here now too. Yeah. And so, it's really exciting. So, okay. So now with that being said, talk to us a little bit about, Valeria Inc. and what you got going on with that, how that came to be, maybe even how did you guys meet? How did it all start? Yeah. Let's go back. Well, my wife and I met. We met through a mutual friend at like a get together at their house. It was like old school, man. That was like BlackBerry Messenger back then. Right?
BBM days.
Yeah, we didn't have social networks. Yeah, we just met through some friends, and I was interested in her. I didn't know how she's a lot younger than me, and I didn't know how old she was at the time. And I had shown some interest in her, and she, in the politest, nicest way possible, let me know that it wasn't going to happen. So, rather than having an ego about it, I said, you know what, that's cool. We can be friends. At that point, I was 38 years old, and I was like, I need to start networking because at some point I need to find a wife. Yeah. Like the clock was ticking. And so I just dropped all of the usual, I think, bullshit that a guy will do when he's pursuing a girl and all the fronting and all. Do you guys still say fronting?
It's been used,
yeah. So I just dropped all that and we were just friends. So it was just like the real me and it was the real her and we were just cool. And one day it just clicked and so it was just like the most organic, natural thing. So
awesome.
Sorry, was she an influencer at the time already?
She was a model.
She was just a model. Okay, but she wasn't content.
When you say just a model, I mean
model, not like a content creator though, in that sense.
No, because at that, like I said, that time it was BBM. Like she could be putting it out on BBM. You know what I mean? So it wasn't really. There was Facebook, but
it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same, right? It wasn't like what it is today. So no, she was modeling. She was living in New York, and I was living in Toronto. So I just started going back and forth between like Toronto, New York. Like I would just go every weekend. Yeah. Right. And eventually, I mean, it didn't take long. I think like 5-6 weeks into it, or no, I proposed to her after 2.5 months.
Wow.
So I told her after 10 days, you're going to be my wife. And it was like this whole thing, and she kind of freaked out and said, "Come meet my mom, and if my mom's cool with you, we can continue. Otherwise, like you're out."
And the mom was cool.
She was cool. Yeah, I won her over. I still win her over to this day. Her and I are good friends. Yeah, man, and yeah, so I proposed to her. She moved to Toronto, and and that was it. And then basically, like,
how did it turn into now the business? So walk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, look. So first things first. Like when I married my wife, when I got together with her, it didn't even cross my mind what she would be doing professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, she was a model, and I didn't even think, is she going to continue modeling? Is she going to stop modeling? Like, what kind of income can I expect? It didn't even cross my mind. I don't know what I was thinking. But no, but like it's probably a relatively impractical thing that I did, right? I literally had no even like thought about what she's going to do professionally.
Yeah.
And I just kept working and grinding, and we started having kids, like one after the other. And one day I just noticed like there was a check for, like a decent 5 figures in our bank account. And I had no clue where it came from. So I'm calling the bankers, I'm calling like my accountant, I'm calling anybody I know who could have wired us this money. And and as far as like the last person I asked was Valeria. And she goes, "Oh yeah, that somebody gave me, somebody paid me to sponsor my YouTube video. And I put some skin product, some like the skincare, some moisturizer, some shit." And I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Yeah, this like I make these YouTube videos." So I took a look at it, and I said to myself, like, this is coming off of that, I had that viral news website, and I was like, shit, this is real media, and there's real value to this media. So I asked her, I said, well, tell me what your day looks like. Like, what do you spend? First of all, I saw all the videos she made, I saw her Instagram content and stuff. So I asked her, I said, like, what does your day look like? And she said, well, for an hour a day, I'm in front of the camera, and then for 9 hours a day, I'm editing. So I said, well, how do you know how to edit video? And she goes, I just went to YouTube and did a search for how to edit video.
Right on, yeah.
So it turns out she's like this savant, right? Yeah. Surprise to me. Not only did I marry the girl of my dreams, but she turns out to be a genius, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I said, okay, well, we're gonna hire a full-time videographer.
Cool.
And so instead of you doing 1 hour and 9 hours, you're just gonna be shooting content like 8 to 10 hours a day, and then the videographer is gonna be working 8 to 10 hours a day, cutting, editing, and optimizing, and then we'll do uploading. And I said, I'll do the accounting. And this is me volunteering to do the accounting after having an almost 7-figure CFO, like 5 years ago in my business, but like, again, humble, right? So I said, I'm going to do the accounting, which I hate doing. It's like but, and that's it. And then it just kind of went from there. And then we would always assess, okay, where's your time spent here. And then we just scaled up the business, and one at a time, we just hired those people. And that was 5 years. So now, the team is, I think I mentioned, like 24 people. So we've got, we've got various editors. So Valeria's ripping content all day long.
That's great.
Like, she should be. Yeah, she should be. Yeah.
Right now she's in her studio, probably like 5 minutes away from here.
Yeah.
In front of a camera.
Just going. That's unreal. Amazing.
And when she's not in front of the camera, she's like reading, researching, trying to figure out like what kind of content will add value to her audience of that that female demographic.
Of course.
And so we've got in-house, like I said, we've got the in-house editors. We've got a director of production who manages the entire post-production process.
Yeah.
So Valeria will create that raw material, and then but that took years to get that team to where it needs to be.
Those processes.
Well, because it's not just a process, so there's complexity to it, because we have to make sure that Valeria's creative kind of vision is in the post-production process. Because when she was editing the videos herself,
she knew what she wanted, she could do it.
Yeah,
that was her spice,
she was present the whole time.
Yes.
So conveying that's actually one of the biggest,
hardest
I would say, blockers in this business is getting that creative kind of element, what Valeria wants, and putting that into like a process that's constantly changing as well as Valeria changes her.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So that's complex. And then we have a biz dev, we have a biz dev team. We have 2 people doing like sponsorship deals.
Cool.
And that's all they do. And they deal with we deal with some like awesome brands.
Yeah.
And then we've got 2 people just on customer relations. So once a deal is signed, we have 2 people who are dealing with the customers, getting creative briefs, going back and forth. And then, so we had to create that whole process. I mean, we've got a 3-person finance team who handles all the money. We've got, there's more.
That's crazy. So this is all just off of
This was just mainly YouTube or Instagram.
Well, she's on 4 platforms now.
Okay.
So it's like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook.
Okay.
And would you attest it to like the volume of content that she was able to put out after? Because I mean, you hired the full videographer after, and I guess you were pumping out what 1 or 2 videos a day or something like that, or trying to.
On YouTube, no. On YouTube, right now we kind of scale back. We're kind of rejigging it.
Okay.
But what do I attest it to? I attest it to quality of content.
Yeah.
You know, I attest it to quality, the combination of quality and quantity. I think if you have shit content and you just keep throwing it up, it's not going to do anything. It's just not going to resonate. It's not going to perform, and you're not going to hit those KPIs, the key performance indicators that you need, like in terms of growth, audience engagement, and whatnot. But it's driving quality of content. Like, there's really no shortcuts to it. Like Valeria, she literally has her nose in a book, or she's doing research, or she's talking to like, you know, to people who have valuable information that she thinks her audience, you know, would benefit from. She's always working. She does a lot of comedic stuff, like short form reels and stuff, like a lot of trending content. So she's always working on her, you know, comedic timing. So that's what it is, man. I think like a lot of influencers ask me like, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I trick the algorithm? There's no trick to the algorithm. That's all bullshit, by the way. You got to make good content. So the biggest optimization any influencer can make is this. It's themselves, right? It's improving themselves and their ability to provide value to audiences.
When did the e-com come about? And like, when did you guys know that, okay, we're ready to sell products now? We have, let's say, a big enough audience.
Own products.
Yeah. Well, I think like I was always ready to sell product. But you know, for us, there's a couple of things. Like, we have so many great sponsors. And when we saw that they keep coming back, that tells me that whatever we're doing is working for them. So in my mind, it's like, we're already dealing with so many sponsors that, hey, like, why not do it for ourselves as well? And why not build enterprise value? So one of the biggest things is like with an influencer business, with like a media company, because every influencer is their own media company essentially. But what you're not doing is you're not building enterprise value. You're not building a business that can actually be sold. So for us, you know, we said we want to have a brand. We want to create a brand that actually has enterprise value that eventually will run independently of Valeria. But having that initial boost, like Valeria's audience is combined is about 5.7 million people. So when you have that combined audience as a boost, that initial boost to get a brand off the ground, then the brand takes on its own life.
Yeah, it helps. I mean? It's like big,
so that's kind of the premise of it, and you know, that's the goal. The goal is to have it, you know, doing its own thing. So we invested into like branding and just into systems and everything. So.
And then in terms of picking the products, I mean, how were you doing it? Were you gauging the audience? Were you getting feedback from Valeria's audience?
So yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
No
but
worries.
yeah. I mean, we were definitely gauging, and we still do. A lot of it comes out of Valeria. Like she's really a tastemaker. Like she's got such great taste, and I think that's one of the reasons. In addition to just she really connects with the audience, but her ability, like fashion's probably the biggest vertical. So her ability to put looks together and stuff, it just really resonates with her audience. So it's just like she designs and picks them. She's not a clothing designer per se, but she works with the people, with the designers. Like initially we looked at what can we get to market the fastest?
Okay.
What can we get the fastest?
Yeah.
So the fastest was jewelry. Right. So we went in and we worked with jewelers. We created a few custom pieces.
Okay,
cool.
There was like a cool piece that did really well with us. Like Valeria she was in New York in was it 47th or 54th, whatever the jewelry district is, and she just bought like for $12 like a piece like from the street, just like made out of lead or some shit like that. So she took that to like, you know, a proper jeweler. Back in Toronto, and she said, listen, like I want to make, like she just liked, it was a very unique design. So she's like, I want to make these changes on design, and she took that piece and used it as inspiration, and then she put like she did some shit to it, you know? She worked with the designer and she came up with a complete unique piece, but the genesis of that came from this like $12
That's crazy.
thing, right? So she did that, and then we just, you know, that was a little harder to make, but the easier stuff is like just like trending pieces, stuff that's already like that wholesale jewelers will stock. Then we moved into sunglasses because again, it was like to get products that we can produce the fastest.
Bring to market right away.
To market. So, you know, because we were obviously using the revenue from the product sales to reinvest, and we still do, to reinvest back into building the team, building infrastructure and whatnot. And now we're working on clothing, and clothing is a whole other animal.
That must be tough. The
It's
clothing's
tough.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
tough. It's tough. It's tough. And you know, Valeria's like, she's really deep in the process. I don't know how she finds the time to do it between all of her commitments. Like it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, like I went to New York last week. I flew last minute because like we have a really important order that we're producing, and I spent a day with her.
Yeah.
Like I spent a day going over looks, and she just wanted my perspective as well. Just as I don't know, she, you know, apparently I do okay in the creative, on some of the creative stuff too. So yeah, I mean that's tough, and those are longer cycles, right? Those are like, you know, it takes to make clothes like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
From like that initial sit down to actually when you have your pieces in hand.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of complexity in that business too. The marketing,
for sure.
everything. It's
I like how you said building enterprise value as well. I think that's something that a lot of influencers see other big influencers doing, and they say, okay, I'm going to build myself up. I'm going to build my name up until I can just sell a product. I could probably sell a variety of products at that point. So what kind of advice would you give to, let's say, a micro influencer that's trying to build up their presence in order to eventually sell a product or create a brand, or both?
So look, I think any influencer, like when you say micro, that's probably what, under 50,000?
Yeah, we could say that.
Under 100,000, whatever it may
Sure.
be. Honestly, like it's too early. I personally think it's too early. I think you need to really concentrate on honing your craft, and you need to really like provide value to your audience.
Yeah.
I think you need to do that, and you need to be sitting on Instagram and responding to every DM, responding to every comment on a post, engaging audience and building community. So monetization is obviously a necessity, and you know, we're not working for free over here. Like we're not,
Of course.
but you gotta build the value first. I just don't think there are any shortcuts realistically.
Yeah.
And I think if you do that, you'll get scale, and with scale, you can get into product. But before you get into product, there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, like I said, like we have a media company.
Yeah.
So when I say we work with sponsors, and this is something else, like a skill that I think these micro influencers can really, you know, grab, is that we know how to, like, we've developed the skill on how to produce content that actually works. Like the whole concept of, like, you know, there's a term of like storytelling that's thrown around a lot. But if you can get good at your craft, and you can get good at integrating in an authentic way sponsored products and content before you get into your own product lines, learn how to do that, because that whole storytelling, creative piece, all of that, there's a lot of complexity, and you really have to be good at it. You know what I'm saying? So I would recommend they build audience and they really build value before they look in product, because with product, you're getting into a whole other thing. Like there's a ton of software, there's logistics, in terms of like shipping, reverse logistics in terms of taking returns, customer service. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a completely separate business.
It's completely separate.
Yeah.
And for an influencer who does already get to that scale, where they see their numbers are producing, like, you know, potentially enough volume to support a product line, you may want to consider partnering with somebody.
Yeah.
Partnering with somebody who can, you know,
Handle that
Handle
who
that side
knows
of
it.
it.
So somebody with that experience, and it'll be appealing to, you know, somebody who's specializes in the product business. Like we had meetings with very prominent people in you know, in fashion and in other product, and we just decided to do it ourselves. It would have been a shortcut to do it with them because they already had all that knowledge. We're learning as we go.
for sure.
So anyways,
And you're building something of your own. Yeah.
Well, getting back to your question, like it's a little early, I think. I think you really concentrate on value.
Well, I like what you said too. Sorry, Coach, quickly. You said something. You said like almost like learn how to sell someone else's product and storytell
in a genuine way.
In a genuine way, and make that work, because then doing yours might be a lot easier.
But
right?
When you say sell someone else's product, I want to make the distinction between branding and conversion. So when you say sell in the traditional kind of understanding of the word
people
sell,
think it's like
dollar
per
selling.
dollar.
You're putting up an ad, and how many people will click on your link in your stories and buy whatever you're linking to.
Yeah.
Those are conversion campaigns. So that's selling. Branding, that's a whole other animal. So, you know, when you're doing branding campaigns, again, you're positioning the product in a certain way. Like, dude, I even did a Gillette bald razor and shaving kit thing.
Let's go.
You know what I mean?
Right,
and you know, and I did that. And I mean, I think they hired me because I'm a bald man, but you know, but yeah, so I think that distinction needs to be made. And I think the term selling, in the influencer space, you got to be a little careful with that, because branding and conversion are two different things.
Which one would you say, okay, this is a double-headed question. which with Valeria, which ones do you guys do more of? Branding or straight up conversion? And if you think there is a difference, which one do you think is more valuable, if you had to say?
So they're two different things. So
Yeah.
right now we do mostly branding.
Yeah.
Probably all branding. I don't think that any sponsor who will look at what we call wrap reports, like when we wrap like a flight,
Yeah.
like a sponsorship flight, when we wrap that, we provide them with the data. I don't believe they're really looking at conversion. They may look at it really superficially, but now it's about branding. It's about brand quality. Just it's all of that. In terms of what's more important, in the beginning, when the audience was smaller, you had kind of companies that were just earlier on in their kind of, in their story. They were in the beginning
journey,
and they're looking for conversion. So they're trying to do they're trying to get an arbitrage, right? So there's, let's say, trying to spend $10,000 and then they want to sell, $20,000 worth of product with $15,000 profit margin. So whatever they're making, their $5,000 profit, however way the numbers work out. So I think, in the beginning you get clients like that and you get people who want that conversion. When you say what's more important, I mean, look, you got to make sales. All companies have to make sales. But I just think that for conversion in general, there are better options than influencer marketing. Influencer marketing, in my opinion, is not it's not a conversion tool. I think back like 5 years ago, a lot of advertisers thought if I pay an influencer X amount of dollars, I'm going to make enough sales that whatever my profit is, it's going to be more than what I paid them, and then let's try scaling that. Yeah. So rather than that, I think it's there's way better ways to do that, like Facebook ads, Instagram ads. Being able to like geo-target, not only geo-target, but target by. That's the power of like Facebook and Instagram in terms of their targeting.
Interest, this, that,
interest, socioeconomic data. Yeah. Like there's all of these ways that you can slice and dice going after an audience. So that's a better, in my opinion, like arbitrage tool for straight conversion. But for branding, I think. But that being said, there are companies like, for example, Fashion Nova. There's companies like
they just killed it.
There's companies like Gymshark. Like Gymshark does, to my understanding, $500 million a year. Yeah. So my understanding is they did that all on influencer marketing. Yeah. So, but I'd have a hard time believing that they would solely use influencer marketing for conversion. Yeah. My theory is and I haven't seen under the hood of what's going on in a company like Gymshark, but my theory is that they're getting influencers to create really good content, and then they take that content and they put paid ad spend behind it, and that's where they arbitrage that for their conversion campaigns.
Yeah. No, I think, and I think, I totally agree with everything you're saying, and I think for any brands listening, big or small, having influencers come on from a branding perspective, like it's almost priceless, right? If the the influencer's audience makes sense for your brand and what you're doing. Like, sometimes I know as a startup, you want to look at like conversion, like you need to make that money back. Yeah. Totally understand that. But I think if you have the opportunity to work with somebody who, let's say, you've dreamed of working with, or that has the dream audience for what your brand is, like it's priceless. Yeah. Like that partnership could be priceless, right?
How do you go about choosing which sponsors to work with? Because I'm sure you guys get a lot and you guys are going to be picky about it, especially now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, I haven't checked the data lately, but I would say our biz dev team probably looks at 30 or 40 inquiries before like actually, doing one deal.
Picking one,
Yeah. So we get we're very fortunate. We get a lot of inbound interest. I guess your question is like, what criteria do we use?
Yeah.
First of all, we check to make sure it's a legitimate company. I mean, that's kind of, I think, the first check.
Step,
yeah. And then we just have to make sure it's cool with Valeria. Yeah. Right. So there's been a ton of stuff that she said no to.
Just off brand.
She's just
not interested.
There was this one, I can't say who it was, but there was this one company and she said, there's a class action lawsuit against them because their products turned out to be carcinogenic.
Wow. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And she said, I won't do it. Yeah, and I said, a lawsuit doesn't mean they're guilty. I'm the devil's advocate. I'm like, listen, it's good money. And she's like, no, like she's so smart that she's like, she checked it out. She goes, no, the lawsuit went through and they lost. Yeah. So, and she goes, I don't want to do it. And she's right, or there have been like, sometimes companies with controversy and again, like lucrative deals. And she said no to them. But but a lot of the stuff she says yes to. Like she says yes to enough stuff, but it's got to be authentic to her, right? It's got to make sense to her. She's got to believe in the product. She's got to see the product. She's got to touch the product. She's got to be cool with it, right? Like, you know, if a clothing brand sent her something and let's say they were priced, like their price point was at like a, you know, a really high price point, but that she touched it and she feels like that's not the correct price point for the quality that they're putting out. She goes, I'm not getting behind it.
Right on.
And I've had like these, but you have to, right? Because if she started just pushing everybody who would offer her money, then at the end of the day, the audience would just disengage because they'd be like, this is bullshit. Like,
it's fake.
She doesn't actually like this. Yeah.
So, but that being said, like there are like in the fashion world, there's varying levels of quality, right? So if something is priced accordingly, like if something is priced like relatively low and it's understood that this is something that you're going to wear 5-6 times or whatever it is, then she'd be like, yeah, like the price point matches the quality expectation. So she's like, yeah, like that's cool.
Interesting.
You can't be like it can't be sponsors who are trying to rip people off.
Yeah, and you got to be real. Well, yeah, like she got to be real with her audience. Like these people are trusting her opinions on everything she's saying, right?
Is that always the case, or was it now that you're at this level, you're able to kind of pick and choose?
So we were fortunate in that we could pick and choose from the beginning.
Okay, amazing.
Because you know, like I had already had like an event, so we weren't trying to figure out like how to pay like the bills with this business. So we actually engineered this business from the beginning to make sure like it's got like longevity. So from the beginning it was like, you know, we were very, I was the one who's pushing probably more and I would always be that devil's advocate. And Valeria would put it like, she would either say yes or no.
I feel like influencers now, like sometimes they'll take a gig that's maybe off brand just to pay the bills, you know, and it's tough. Yeah, right? it's tough.
It's a tough situation, right? Because I understand them because they do have to pay those bills. But at the same time, it's short-term gain versus long-term, right? So if you want to build something for the long run and you want to have that brand that is reputable, you got to be selective. Again, we're very fortunate that we were able to be selective. So if Valeria had to like, you know, turn down a very lucrative deal, like it didn't mean like our kids would still eat, you know what I mean?
Was there ever a huge one you turned down where you're like, damn?
Yeah.
It happens, eh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, more than once. Yeah. Yeah. And it's
part of
just
the game.
like,
Yeah, it's part of the
and
game.
now it's like now it's at another level. So like we have a proper CEO. It's not me. Like I'm not a CEO, right? So we have a proper CEO and she's like super smart and her and I will be talking. We're like, shit. Like, I'm like, well, let me talk to her. But
that's amazing.
But no, once Valeria decides, she decides.
Yeah.
Is there anything from your past businesses that you've built that you've brought into these new businesses now?
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Yeah, man.
Is there any like big kind of hit that you took in the past that you really learned from and you're like, this is something I'm bringing forward no matter what?
Sorry, the question is like what
from the past,
what am like?
What have you
what
applied
did I screw
from?
up on?
Yeah,
like,
maybe like let's a big L that you took that you're like, you know what, this I for sure learned my lesson about this, and maybe now you applied that to what you're doing.
So there's operational stuff and there's more like strategic stuff, right?
Yeah.
So strategically, I've passed on like, you know, I'll passively invest. I'll cut checks, you know, into companies like early stage, mid stage.
Okay.
I invest in the stock market, so there are deals that I passed on multiple times that went on to be huge, right? Okay. So, and I was like, shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
But at the time that I made that decision, it was the right decision for me.
Yeah.
Because the deal didn't make sense for me, and you know, good for these guys. Like I'm super happy for them. So I mean, I don't know if there's really a learning experience from them, from that, because you still have to be discerning about what deals you take and what deals, you know, and what deals you pass on. But operationally, I gotta say, like when my daily deal company went up like a rocket ship, and then you know, some time passed. It was like maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and then it sank. That was tough, man. That was a real humbling experience, because when you have to fire 100 people in one day, you got to ask yourself how the hell you're doing that. Like people who've entrusted you with their career, and people who like you walk through the office every day and you're like saying hi to people and you're shaking hands.
Did you have to do the firing? Did you do that?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
I was the CEO of the company. Yeah. So but like firing is probably the thing I hate to do the most.
Yeah.
That part sucks the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a real humbling experience. I mean, what I took from that is I understand now that you can have, depending on the industry you're in, actually, no, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. You can have a business today and it can just be gone tomorrow, especially in this new world of digital everything.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, yeah, man. So things can just go away.
Yeah.
So
Does that put you in a position now to just think of the future more, and think about what ifs and like maybe this might not last forever. Maybe I got to build something that can last forever no matter what. Like
I don't think there's any more building something that can last forever.
Yeah.
Businesses, especially now, like with everything digital and crypto and just everything that's going on in the world from a technology perspective, things can get disrupted so quickly, and you can take a hit so fast. You can go to zero so fast, especially like when you're building a business that's dependent on other people. Like all of our businesses, all my businesses have always, not always, but lately they've been platform dependent. So they're dependent on the Instagrams of the world and the Facebooks of the world. And like, you got to worry about like policy changes. You got to worry about hackers. You got to worry about a lot of shit that, you know, that's the thing, right? So it's hard to have actual like security in anything, but what you can do is you can just kind of apply pressure every day to the things that you got to get done to drive your business. Try to have investments. This is all the stuff. Like I'm not saying anything new, right? This isn't like original shit that I just made up. Like, people talk about this all the time. Yeah, you if you can, you have to have multiple streams of income, and try to buy appreciating assets. Like I do believe in like, you know, the stock and like the long term profitability of the stock market. I mean, you know what? It's funny, like you know, talking about the stock market. I remember one time I saw this like really spammy ad for it was for this company called Motley Fool. I don't know if you heard of Motley Fool. You know, they're actually Canadian. They're actually Canadian, and they had this ad out, and the ad was like, you know, it was a YouTube pre-roll ad, and it said for $300 we're going to tell you the next Amazon. We're going to tell you the next Amazon, and they were just freaking out about.
They're like a stock news platform.
They're like a stock news, exactly. But it was such a spammy ad, and I was just like, fuck, you know what? $300? All right, let's try. You know? And then they send me an email. They're like, buy Shopify. You know, they said buy Shopify.
Oh my God, at what price?
When was this?
I don't remember the price, but I know I did a 6X on it.
Oh, I was gonna say Shopify. I mean? Okay.
Right, it was right before.
Sorry,
it was right.
Off.
It was right before they had a 6X, right? So yeah, I mean, I think you got to diversify, and you gotta just keep kind of, I don't know, man. You got to keep grinding away. You just got to every day apply that pressure. And try to safeguard yourself as much as possible. I think real estate in the long term is a good thing, whether it's investment properties or like your own property, you know, because the things that you can do from a longevity, like just from a safeguarding yourself from real estate, I got to tell you that the first condo that I bought when I was in my late 20s in Toronto, that contributed. Like I couldn't have bought all the other properties, and I probably had like maybe 4 or 5 properties since then. I couldn't have bought it without that first like $190,000 condo.
That's crazy.
Straight up, because like, you know, stuff goes up, like, you know, values go up. You can pull out equity,
refinance.
You can refinance. You can, you know. So
you still have the Toronto condo?
That one, no. I have other properties in Toronto, but not that one.
I'm curious. Is there an end goal for you? Like, do you have one specific end goal or some type of end goal? Like, because I feel like you're just fucking going. Like, you're just going. You've been going, right? So, what is there an end goal? Yes, no. What does that look like for you?
I don't want to like go against, you know, kind of the premise of your podcast of Money Buys Happiness, but I think the end goal, once you get past a certain age, if I had to really think about it. When I was your age, the goal was money. The goal now is peace and security.
True.
It is. So that's my end goal. My end goal is peace and security, to know that, you know, we have my family, like my wife, my kids, we have whatever infrastructure, financial infrastructures we've built, we have the resilience to weather any storm. And I know my kids are going to be good and they're going to get a head start in life. So to me, do I want like, you know, a plane and a yacht? To be honest, no. You know, no, because if I want to take a private flight, I'll charter a plane if I really want to. If I want to go on a yacht, I'll charter a boat for a day or two. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't have those kind of desires anymore. I don't have an ego to satisfy. Do I like nice cars and watches? Yeah, I do. But if I didn't have a nice car anymore, would it make me less happy? No. So adding the third thing. So there's, what did I say? Peace, security, and happiness overall. So you know, that's really my end goal.
Cool.
Because once you get past a certain point and you have children, then all of this material shit, like it becomes more of a nice to have, because you no longer have that ego that needs to get satisfied to go out in the world so everybody to see, hey, see me,
like I'm legit.
Yeah, like, and again, not to go against the premise, like when you say money buys happiness, it certainly doesn't buy like misery if you handle it right. But I don't think it's necessarily the end all to all happiness.
Yeah.
So peace, security, and just overall happiness. That's really my end goal.
That's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask if how your mindset as an entrepreneur changed after having a family, but you pretty much just answered that.
Yeah. I just want I'll tell you if you make in one day millions of dollars, like over one day you have a transaction or your stocks go up and let's say you make 50, 100, 200, $300,000 in one day because you hit something right or your cryptos performed well. That's all great, man. It's wonderful. You buy a Lambo, you're fucking cruising around. It's great. But if your kid gets sick, man, none of that shit matters. Yeah. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm telling you, it so doesn't matter. Yeah. Because when you look at value and happiness and kind of the currency of life, I'm getting goosebumps sitting here, hearing myself talk about it. Yeah. When you have kids, man, I hate to say, it just doesn't matter.
Nothing else matters.
It just doesn't matter, man. Yeah. So when I'm looking at a home and where I want to live, I'm looking is this cool for my kids? Are my kids going to be, is the kind of childhood they'll have living in this neighborhood, will it be a good childhood? Mm-hmm. Will they look back and be like, hey, you know what? I made good friends. Yeah. Our kids, it's funny, you don't mind if I get into this shit?
No, please. Yeah.
So our kids, a few doors down, they have a squad. There's a kid, a family with 5 kids, and they're just always hanging out with these 5 kids. And you can't buy that shit. You know what I mean? That's the real value in life.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, bouncing off. I totally agree, and we've seen it with a lot of other people that we've interviewed as well. They say the same thing when the family comes into play, sort of everything changes, right? And going against the premise, it's okay because usually we ask that question at the end. We say, "What do you think of the term?" But you pretty much answered it. My last question before we let you go is, how do you guys juggle it? How do you and Valeria juggle everything you're doing? I know you have obviously a very strong team behind you, but how the fuck do you keep it going? Because that can't be easy. 3 kids.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how the hell we keep it going, but we keep it going. If I had to really think about how we do it, so for me, I don't I'm big into delegating. Mm-hmm. I'm big into spending my time training and kind of mentoring people that are close to me that quite frankly work for us. Mm-hmm. I would rather spend my time doing that and have them take care of stuff than me kind of trying to always do it. So I think delegation, I think choosing the right people to work with, delegating correctly, and making sure that you're satisfying their career goals. Yeah. And a lot of that's overlooked, but if you have a loyal person, and they're doing things that are critical to your business and you're meeting their career goals, and you've gotten them you worked with them to get them to where you want to be, having kind of that group of people around you who you're helping, and it's there's a proper value exchange there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you juggle it, man. If I had to really think about how you do it, that's how you do it. Yeah. And I have to say, between me and Valeria, I think that I'm way better at delegating because she's a much younger entrepreneur than I am. Yeah. Right? She's 31 years old. She started this when she was 25, 26. Mm-hmm. So this is her first real business, Yeah. She makes a lot of the same, I don't want to say mistakes, but she behaves in the same way that I did when I was that age as well, where I wanted to do everything myself. Mm. I'm the accountant, I'm the salesperson, I'm everybody. I don't care. I'm everything. Yeah. But now it's about bringing those people in, and it's knowing that they may do it, 70% of how you would do it if you did it yourself, and that's cool. Yeah, because you can't be everything to everyone. So I think the way that to answer your question, the way that we juggle it is we put the right people in place. We make sure they're incented. We make sure we're meeting their long-term career goals, short and long-term career goals. We make sure they're happy and they're doing their thing. Yeah. Our team is in Toronto. Most of the team is in Toronto. We started hiring people here. Yeah. And still, man, they're taking care of stuff, Yeah. So I think that's it. And it's prioritizing your time, and it's making sure we're feeding our soul. We do I don't know if you could, just one more thing. I'll just we did this really cool thing. So we were at an event and we met Venus Williams.
Wow. Right on. I think I saw you post that too.
I did. Yeah, I did. And Venus, she's super cool, man. She's such a classy person. She was super nice, super humble. And then obviously, like we saw this whole Will Smith fiasco, and that said, and that's not that we need to talk about that, but then I said to myself, oh, we got to go watch that movie, and I have my boys, my 2 older boys, playing tennis.
Okay.
Amazing.
So I said to them, hey, we met a tennis pro, and this is a movie about her. So we sat down and we watched this, and anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it was very cool. We watched like the first 2/3 of the movie last night.
Yeah.
And it was really dope. My kids were watching it, and I was showing them pictures. See, Mama and Papa, see, we're hanging out with these people. You know?
Okay,
I'm
my
the cool
last
dad.
question. Last question now. Has there been anybody obviously stepping into this business that you've met where you're just like kind of starstruck, like holy fuck, like I'm standing beside this person type of thing, or I'm talking to them, shaking hands? Maybe there's a few, maybe there's one, I don't know.
I'd have to really think about that. I mean, we've met some really big influencers with like 20 million plus
that's crazy
followers,
That's
which is cool. Everyone's like super nice and humble. That's the thing, is like the bigger they get, the nicer they are.
really.
You know, you'll see more attitude from somebody with like, you know, like a 250,000 followers.
Yeah, literally.
That's
Which,
crazy.
you know, then, you know, but I'm just trying to think who. I mean, outside of this business, I had a meeting with Mike Tyson.
Oh, wow.
That was
fucking
pretty
cool.
massive,
That's
dude.
huge.
Yeah, that was cool. I met with Mike Tyson. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. Who else did I meet with? There were some other
I mean,
ones.
Mike Tyson.
I got one more question, by the way,
Yeah.
because you brought up crypto a couple times.
Yeah.
Are you into crypto? Are you into the world? Are you bullish on it?
I don't know.
We got some giggles back there.
me and Miguel, we're actually going to this NFT event.
Amazing.
And we went to an NFT masterclass a few weeks ago. To me, like NFTs and cryptos are kind of in the same realm. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still tough. Like I'm not in. Like I'm not in it. I haven't bought any crypto. And my initial reason why I didn't buy crypto is because I didn't trust the exchanges.
Okay.
Because I've been trading stock now for some time, and like I log into my bank, it's like a bank.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bank. Like,
Yeah.
I know if I buy something at a bank, like I don't hear about, you know, weird shit going
Some
on
scams or some
with
shit,
people losing
Yeah.
their entire like millions of dollars in stocks. So to me, it was all about the exchanges.
Okay.
I just don't trust this kind of new world of exchanges.
Okay.
I still don't. I think in general with crypto, just the whole exchange of value thing. Like, you ever hear about that movie about the tulips in like Belgium or shit?
No.
So like back in like I don't know what it was, the 15 or 1600s, there was a movie about it. People were trading tulip bulbs, like I guess tulip seeds to grow tulips,
Okay.
like way back in the day. And there was no value in these tulip seeds.
Yeah.
And the only reason that people would buy these tulip seeds because they thought somebody else would pay more for them. So when you have an asset that somebody you're only buying it because you think in the future somebody's going to pay you more for it, unless there's like real serious utility, then I would be concerned about that crashing. Okay. By the same token, I also think Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million. So I contradict myself every day on this shit.
Yeah. No, that's I think that's where everybody is at now with it. Just like, okay, like, yeah, I think it's going to go there, but also I think the security aspect of it is always like the hesitancy that we hear, which is what you're saying, right? Like just like the fact that like people's wallets can get fucking, you know, millions of dollars stolen, stuff like that. Like, but man, listen, I know you probably have a busy day. I know you guys got shit to do. We appreciate you coming out. It's unreal, man. Your story's awesome. I think our listeners, our viewers will absolutely love it. You brought a lot of value. Really appreciate that, man.
Thank you, man. I really am happy that you guys invited me. It kind of came out of the blue.
Yeah.
But you see, I check all my DMs, man.
Yeah, man. You hit me back right away, too. It's unreal.
You got to stay on them. You got to stay on
No, I love it. Appreciate you. I know you guys will only see future success, and we're going to be watching now and cheering you on. So, again, thank you for coming out. Really appreciate it. And if you've made it this far, we love you guys, too. If you haven't liked, subscribed, commented, do the fucking duties. I'm not going to say it again. All right? We're on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. We're blowing up there. Keep it running. We love you guys. If you made this far, once again, thank you so much. And we are out.